right, we are back. It's been a long time, way too fucking long. But if you're an OG viewer and you're still watching now, love you. I love you. I love you. Okay, mwah, kiss for you. If you're a new viewer, love you. And if you're not a viewer, well, fuck you. So that is that. Okay, so anyways, fucking Dragon Ball movie. We're gonna talk about it. We watched it. Superhero. Boom. It's a great movie, and how it started was not only something special to me, but something special to you because it started off with the OG Dragon Ball. It was a hell of an introduction. What were your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, anytime they remind people that may have watched it at the time, 20, 30 years ago?
Yeah, 20 plus.
Oh my God.
Maybe 40? Jesus.
Yeah, we watched it pretty recently considering it's still a few years now.
Couple. Yep.
So it's like, it's nostalgic even then. But it's like, yeah, starting with the original Dragon Ball, reminding people, showing people, it's like, wait, there was a Kid Goku? He wasn't just the same character?
And it was narrated with Goku when he fought the Red Ribbon Army and blah blah blah, Dr. Gero, and like
that moment was so cool.
Yeah, they had the intro had like OG Dragon Ball vibes to it. Like
it did.
Like it had because it had the narrator, it had all those things. So it was like not only was it a nostalgia trick, but it was like super nostalgic because it's where we kind of started off like the anime journey together. I mean, you already watched stuff, but it was like. It was like kind of revisiting that, and like it also had been so long since we watched Dragon Ball because we watched OG Dragon Ball, Dragon Ball Z, Dragon Ball Super all in a row.
Yeah.
And then when we came back, and then we watched the movie, it's like we haven't watched for like 2 years.
Yeah, and like for me, I mean, it's not to like sleep on the positive aspects of like each series in isolation, but the original Dragon Ball is my favorite.
Yeah,
because it's
mine
like
too.
You see. Kind of what people complain about not seeing. You see Goku's development.
Yeah.
You see the character growth. You see him start from a kid. You know, he's still stronger. They don't just say, "Hey, he's a Saiyan from another planet." Like, no, that's not even acknowledged throughout the whole series.
Yep.
That's not acknowledged till Z.
Yep.
So, like, for one, again, anyone telling you to skip the original Dragon Ball, sorry, clueless,
Yeah.
completely clueless. Don't
No
skip
way.
the original Dragon Ball.
Please do not.
Yes. But there's so many great arcs. There's some of the like original tournament arcs. People love tournament arcs, but that's one of the best ones.
The best, and so many tournament arcs are modeled after those.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
Yeah, and it's like people are like, oh, Goku just wins all of them. Who cares? It's like, no, watch them. See.
Yeah, watch them.
See,
Watch the OG Goku and Piccolo like the martial arts tournament. OG Goku, which was like not even like full, he was like teen.
Forget, Master Roshi.
Master Roshi, but like the reason why I'm talking about Piccolo is because one of the most important characters is superhero, and you don't even know how dope Piccolo is if you don't know his origins. Like coming from being reincarnated basically from King Piccolo, like shot out of egg, basically fucking but then
energy, so
it's like kind of like just extending the legacy. Fucking. Ends up not being evil, obviously. And in this movie, it shows really like the most humane side of him. Like it shows like the comedic side. It shows like it just showed like so much of his personality that we haven't seen,
Yeah, and they do that kind of through also. They almost use his character to be kind of the sane voice kind of throughout a lot of periods of Dragon Ball. But in this, they kind of almost represent what some of the viewers are thinking. Like
absolutely.
When they ask, like, what about Gohan? Can he help? And he's all like, oh, you can't really rely on Gohan. And that's what people have been thinking for years. And it's like,
it's painful. Painful, dude.
Yeah.
And, and so basically, movie starts out, boom, intro. Next thing you know, we got Piccolo. First of all, they have like these new like phones that they're like they've made it feel very like new and fresh and almost like hip, quote unquote. Well, but not in like a corny way.
And that's the thing. It's like there's certain aspects of it to where it's like a love letter to like old fans, nostalgia, etc. But also so modern. Obviously, with the animation style, we'll get into that. But it's like. But yeah, it had a modern feel. Like it's present day Dragon Ball. It's new, but it's also like. A lot of little subtle references to like older, to the original one, to parts in Z that people maybe haven't seen for 15 years.
Yep.
It's not just a nostalgic film, but they throw those little parts in there so there's some depth. A lot of people, they might not associate, Dragon Ball Z or Dragon Ball with like depth, but there's while there is like a wacky element and like crazy scaling and stuff going all over the place, there's still a lot of heart to it and a lot of little details and things throughout that get harkened back to, and it's. I don't know.
It shows like the journey. Those little nuggets of nostalgia shows the journey, and that's one of the best parts about Dragon Ball, because you see it literally from Goku being this anomaly amongst everyone, and like obviously standing out, he had a tail, blah blah blah, that stuff, to growing into like someone who's protecting everyone, not just like someone who doesn't fit into the world, but someone who now protects the world.
And he wasn't. Yeah, he wasn't instantaneously stronger than everyone else. He was stronger than anyone else that's a human kid at his age. But I mean, he didn't just go in and he could just destroy the whole world. It wasn't that simple.
No, it definitely was not. And unfortunately, not unfortunately, actually great, in its own way, great that he was barely in this movie. It was mostly Piccolo, it was mostly Gohan, and due to the fact that we don't get enough screen time of everyone else, because it is a Goku and Vegeta show and Super, which is lovely. I love that. But we also, I feel like this was a good step in the right direction of like just giving the Z fighters more shine. Like just some of them. Not, you can't do them all in one movie, but Piccolo, Gohan, two big players, and like showing not only scaling them up, giving them the power ups that they deserve, but like just showing more of like their psychology a little bit, not like into like a super deep extent, but like they showed that Gohan, when push comes to shove, like he's gonna get down. Like he's still got that dog in him. You know what I mean? Like he still does.
And they have to go that direction with him, right? Like even though it's like whether it's canon or not is kind of iffy at this point.
Yeah, the power ups are canon.
So it's like they are going this direction with Gohan, where it's like he had planned to make Gohan kind of the MC-ish. I'm not saying he'll become that, but he'll at least become super relevant again.
Yep.
And they acknowledge even in the movie and in the show in general that's like, oh yeah, he kind of has slacked off, because this whole like, oh, but he was studying. It's like,
and he thinks that the world's at peace always. They did that whole thing.
And also like they didn't. Even though the scaling and stuff is kind of wild, and it's not like some of it you're supposed to not think super hard about.
Right.
They also don't like extremely insult your intelligence. Like you don't have Goku, Vegeta come back to Earth, become Gogeta, and then just get clapped, and then Gohan wins.
Yeah, no.
It's like he might.
They respect the characters.
Yeah, he might scale up to them. Whatever. Like people can debate that, and we'll find out to some extent where his scaling really is.
Yeah.
And I have seen people talk about that, but
they
don't just have them. Like, Beerus comes to Earth and he gets beat.
And we see that. Like, no.
Yeah, there's not something that's like, oh, that's just stupid. It's more like, that's a little silly, but awesome.
It's just like, they're watching Goku and Vegeta fight on the planet, and the bucket of ice cream is covering Whis' little staff, so he can't hear her right now. Like, just like a little, like, haha, like, they're busy type shit. Like,
so you have that where it's like, it's Dragon Ball. It's not meant to be taken super seriously.
No, well, it's written by a comedic author. Like, he's a comedic author who's writing a shonen, and if you can understand that, then you can enjoy it for what it is.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. Like, and that's really just it. And but going back into kind of Gohan and like all of those things, like the biggest for me and probably most of the viewers, the biggest first moment was when the Ribbon Army was trying to steal Pan. Oh no, they did steal Pan. Mm-hmm. And, the dude pulls up on Gohan like, oh, blah, 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 we got your daughter.
Yeah.
Jumps out the fucking window. Boom. Crater. Like, he's like, I'm not playing with you. I will fucking kill you and everyone. Like, he's like, you do not fuck with my family. Like,
I do think that was a good, because it's a movie, so they basically had to speed up his, like, what's going to make him develop.
Yeah.
And done all kinds of other things. Oh, he goes and trains on another planet. Oh, he has this mystic power. Yeah, sure he does. But once his daughter's threatened, then you see that side, and that brings it out.
And I feel like whether or not you have kids or not, you could understand that to an extent where it's like that you don't cross that line. Any family.
Anyone.
Exactly. Where it's like and Gohan's always really like, I mean, people that he's cared about is always fueled his motivation, obviously. Like, he saw 16 get destroyed, and obviously he was like, yo, okay, now I'm gonna beat Cell's ass. Like, and he barely even knew 16. He just knew he was a good guy. Like,
it does.
So it kind of fit that trend of what he's been doing.
We hadn't already explored that a lot. I mean, it's predictable, but in a good way.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So he fucking boom goes in, and then next thing you know, our man Piccolo, he's just kind of behind the scenes. You know, he's pretended to be like a soldier or whatever. He's actually there watching this happen, and he. It's like he is the fucking audience because he's analyzing, being like, oh, he's starting to like get closer to who he was, and we're also thinking that because it, you know, that is, it's just verbalizing what's really happening.
Yeah.
And then next thing you know, boom. Well, actually, a little bit before this, we let's start going into. We get introduced to 2 new super android. Didn't really explain too much of how they were created, but they were created by the not evil, the the kid scientist.
Well, yeah, the just slightly disturbed super genius, I guess.
Yeah, what was his name? Hedo. If you watch the dub, Hedo. Some people were calling him Hedo. You must be watching sub if he said that. But whatever. I don't know why you would watch. Dragon Ball dub is the best, bro. There's no debate. But
Goku's voice for me is I'm always going to associate it with the dub.
Yeah, and also, I mean, the person who does Vegeta and Piccolo both. I mean, he's one of the best voice actors of all time. But
he's great.
Anyways, so boom, we get introduced to Gamma 1, Gamma 2, and I believe it was was it Gamma 2 that pulled up on No, it's Gamma 1 that pulled up on Piccolo. Which one was it?
Might have been 2.
It might have been 2. I think 2 didn't. I don't know. Blue, red, whatever. One's blue, one's red. Anyway, one of them pulls up on Piccolo. Boom. All that goes down. Piccolo kind of like, honestly, kind of gets dogged a little bit. He's not like, it's not an easy fight for him.
And that's the likability of the characters is something Toriyama's so good at doing, because a lot of people are like, oh, like I really like Gamma 2, or I really like Gamma, you know, despite the fact that like they came out of nowhere and there's no way they could have.
But just instantly you're kind of like with like the goofy little like superhero things that pop up on the screen and just the way they're delivered.
But if he had said something like, oh, like I collected so much more DNA than Dr. Gero, I got like Beerus's DNA somehow, like good luck getting that. But I mean, like then I could be like, oh,
a hair?
How he makes that. Yeah, exactly.
Something.
Like, oh, that's how he made them even stronger. They're just like, we're not explaining.
Yeah, not in the movie. Now they might explain it at some point. This
in the manga, if they.
I don't know if they're gonna put it in the manga,
not per se.
Because then he just has to. I don't know if he'd do that, but the way it's set up is that the movie is supposed to be placed after the Black Frieza arc, which is in the manga, being currently done and all that stuff. Don't know what happens there. Don't read the manga.
Right.
Just seeing spoilers online.
In theory, whatever comes next and whatever's even remotely canon, even if it's the anime first, that because Toriyama wrote this movie basically.
Yes, he did.
He was a very integral part of making it. He wasn't just like, oh, sure, I approve it. As far as we know, like,
in the intro, it showed him like listed as like a bunch of things.
Yeah.
So like he had a huge part.
Screenplay, all that. So it's like the dialogue. So it's not like it's a. It might. We'll see how canon it becomes, but it's like it's
part of his vision. You know, It's part of what he kind of wants to do with the series.
Exactly. It's
so
from the original author, so it's like. We might get more of an explanation.
Yep.
A lot of those things, like, yes, Dragon Ball can have plot, like, I don't even say holes, but just, like, plot rushes or things that they're just, like, whatever.
Fun ass pulls on purpose.
Exactly.
Like they're purposeful ass pulls.
But it's like, come on. Like, you know that.
Yeah, it's because Toriyama just doesn't give a fuck. He's just having fun. Like,
not
he's fucking old as shit and he's just writing stuff for fun. Like,
we need shonen that doesn't just have ass pulls or seinen or whatever.
Well, I hate when they try to disguise the ass pulls. Like, he just puts it right. He's like, I don't give like, you know? Like,
it depends. Like, obviously, if you're, like, really well disguised it's one thing.
But you know what I mean? Where it's like
it's trying to be like a plot heavy centric one, and then
they're like that's the thing where it's like you're trying to make it something that it's not.
And we need ones that aren't that, but it doesn't have to be Dragon Ball. Dragon Ball can be fun.
That is the point of Dragon Ball. Like Dragon Ball always was supposed to be fun, and that's what makes Dragon Ball so special. It's entertainment purposes only. Like, it's for entertainment, it's for a good laugh, it's for some hype, it's for a good fun story. Like, just like that is what Dragon Ball is. And if you can understand that and you like fun, then you will probably like Dragon Ball. And if you don't like fun, then don't watch Dragon Ball and just fucking go watch fucking Black Clover and say it's the best thing ever. Like, not that it's not okay, but it's like, come on, shut the fuck up. Like, all right guys. All right.
So we could because the movie is a lot of fun. I understand that like the animation that's gonna throw some people off.
Yeah, whatever.
It's so it's heavily CGI, but it's not like.
But it's smooth. Like
it is very. Smooth.
At first, it's a little jarring, but
when they're talking.
But yeah, like with like normal interactions, sure, it's like okay, this stands out. Also, it stands out because it's a new thing.
Yes.
And but just because it's a new thing doesn't mean it should just be deleted right away and just rejected.
No, and it's not in random parts to save money. It's the whole movie, and you can tell it still had a very high budget. I haven't looked up what the budget was, but it is clearly they put a lot.
They made a bag though. They made so much money on this movie.
Yeah, they did.
They did.
And it's I think because there's a lot of heart in the movie. There's a lot of Easter eggs for Dragon Ball fans throughout history. People that started with the original.
Things that people people have been waiting 20 plus years for. Like
that's the thing. It's kind of like the whole premise is a bit of a love letter to fans.
Yeah,
like, hey, Gohan
and a well-deserved one. A fucking well-deserved one. Only reason why Toriyama didn't make Gohan the strongest character is because everyone at the time wanted Goku to stay the strongest character. People were complaining, blah blah blah. So he catered to that. Said, okay, we won't do Gohan as the strongest yet. Now everyone wants Gohan to be strong as fuck because now people are like, damn, well,
ruin it?
Blah blah blah. So he's just trying to like satisfy a little bit of everything.
Same with Piccolo. It's like during so many arcs, like he became like such a intelligent character, and like everyone wanted him to do well. And then he'd get these power ups that made sense, but then he wouldn't be very strong still.
No,
he'd just be like, oh yeah, he can almost battle one slight form of Cell, but then Cell evolves and he's irrelevant.
Yeah, that was tough.
You got to make him relevant again.
You have to.
Now, some characters still aren't gonna be, but it's like, but Piccolo's one of those.
Yeah, I mean, we saw zero Yamcha in this. They didn't even speak his fucking name when they were talking about. I brought all the strong people I know. They literally did not even like what, bro.
I mean, Tien.
Yeah, no, yes, of course.
Yeah.
Fucking. But,
wait, who?
And no Roshi, but that's okay.
That's a little.
He's old and shit, but hopefully he comes back into play at some point. But like literally.
Evil containment wave everyone, right?
Yeah, a little bit to an extent, but
Probably not these. The Gamma guys aren't evil. Well, I guess you don't have to be to actually use it on people.
No, you don't have to be evil. I think do you have to have a little bit of evil in your heart? I can't remember. That might have been a thing, but it might not be anymore. You know what I mean? So.
Well, yeah, he did it to people in the Tournament of Power, and they weren't evil. So,
yeah, true. Well, but then again, maybe Schmidge evil.
Maybe. Yeah.
But regardless, would love to see Roshi get back at it. Yeah. Roshi's fucking OG. And if you watch the original Dragon Ball, you know that. If you haven't watched the original Dragon Ball, you don't even know how dope Roshi is.
Yeah, he's just there.
He's just there.
If you don't, which is like sweet if you know.
Roshi built the foundation of the show. Like he's so important. Like Roshi's
such an important character.
Best fucking sensei.
Like
bro.
Yeah, the only way he gets unimportant is by like aging out. Like you can't.
Right.
The foundation of Goku and Krillin's training. Yeah, Krillin's kind of irrelevant too, but he was in the movie because you want to see him still.
That's
Maybe he's not as. They even kind of made a joke. He's just like, hey, I have superhuman strength too, and they're like, yeah, sure, whatever.
Yeah, like,
superhuman, like that matters now.
Yeah, that's fucking, that's
he's one of the strongest people on Earth. So
yeah, we're talking fucking universal at this point.
Yeah,
but
multiverse really.
He just needs to inject some fucking Saiyan cells, man.
I don't know if he'll ever really factor in strength wise, but
yeah,
you never know. Android 17.
The thing is, with how they're going with the show now. This is all theoretical, but they could introduce it. Like they've been introducing new styles of power. Gohan has Beast Mode. Fucking Piccolo has Orange. It's a little bit different. It's kind of similar to some of the other things. But then they have Ultra Ego, which is in the manga, blah blah, and then Ultra Instinct. So they're starting to show different styles of power. They might have a different style for humans, like
something undiscovered,
some type of inner.
In the manga, there was something about Rochi being able to, achieve Ultra Instinct.
Yeah.
Not to say it's easier for humans, but that there is a direction for humans to grow.
And different types of power.
Unless Tien comes back and is like, oh, he's been meditating for 10 years.
Tien should have something, bro.
You would think, but
he should. Also, there's got to be something they can do. I hope they do some shit, but regardless.
He was cool for a while, man. He was
super cool. He's some people's favorite character.
That's unfortunate.
Yeah, I know that is unfortunate.
Yeah, but no, they could go any direction they want.
Mm-hmm.
Like again, like you can't. Well, how could we say they can't? Because again, Gamma 1, Gamma 2 came out of nowhere. We don't know why they're strong other than Super Genius made
Hedo made him, and he's good as fuck at what he does.
Yeah, again, they might explain, but for now it's like, yeah. And then, we come down to, there's the main bad guy, so to speak, other than the Red Ribbon Army asshole. But is the version of Cell that's basically just...
imperfect, which a lot of people have gropes about. Some like it, some don't. A lot of people want to see a perfect version of Cell Max. My thing is this. They could... it would be a little weird, but they could still do that. Like, they could still, bring in, a perfect Cell Max at some point.
They've done time travel before. So what if there's another timeline where he got completed?
Exactly. What if he comes back
People
with,
saying, what if he absorbed Gamma 1, Gamma 2? I thought he was going to. When we were watching, I'm like, I'll probably do that. Although then it'd be crazy. But still, it's like... Who knows where they'll go with it and kind of the official timeline.
Yeah, that's the thing. And maybe those gropes are needed to make something like that happen.
Yeah.
I don't know. But my point is, I liked it. I didn't think he needed to get perfect. I think having him as a mindless movie monster kind of worked for the scenario where it just let all the other characters shine.
It did. It doesn't... I didn't think it detracted from the movie. It does... you can't hold him up there high regard of Dragon Ball.
No, he's just a fucking tool to be. He's a vessel for the heroes to look good.
Just a vessel to display strength. And to be fair, it's almost like it was almost like him being Cell at all, in a sense, wasn't needed. It was just to give us that, oh shit, Cell was so strong, so if he's Cell Max, then...
Yeah, and also to bring forth that, a little bit of that, because when Gohan beat him, he used the special beam cannon.
Yeah.
Instead, which was fucking awesome, instead of using the Kamehameha. So it was kind of like a tie into, full circle stuff, because, Goku was his, sensei for, that little arc. Mm-hmm. Obviously, they went in the time chamber and did that back in the Cell days. But then, now Piccolo obviously has been a huge... he was the first sensei, but he's also been a huge sensei and a mentor to him for a long time. So the fact that they were able to do a similar scenario, but with Piccolo's move, that was kind of almost like full circle, where it's just they paid homage to both sides. You know what I mean?
It was, yeah. I don't know if they'd want to actually, change this going forward in the canon, if they did an anime version of this. Or version of introducing these plot lines. But, obviously part of what made Cell was his intellect and kind of the way he would think, the way he would talk. You know, and it's you could do that if you have a Cell Max that could actually communicate to bring it full circle.
Got it. Cell Max, but they took the time to make him, so he's good now. Let's think about it. We have good Boo. We have potential in the future good Frieza. He's back and forth a little bit. And then what if we had good Cell? And then that's the add him to the team for the universe tournament of Power 2 against the strongest universes.
We also might get, if you follow some people's interpretation of the timeline, we might get good evil Boo in the form of Oob still.
True. Yeah, we might get that still.
Yeah, I think because even though some people say, this is all taking place before the end of DBZ. People can argue that back and forth, but Oob will be there in some capacity. Yep. It seems a little odd that the strength of just the Kid Boo side, reincarnated in human form, could be equal in any capacity to multiverse level battles. That seems a little iffy. But also it might unfold a little bit differently to where it makes more... sense.
From my understanding, Oob is in a human body now. So if they somehow gave humans a new way to be strong, then boom, he jumps on that wave. And he already has the fucking, the lineage.
Toriyama can do whatever he can do whatever the fuck he wants. I know that, technically,
imagine that giant team.
But he can really do whatever.
100%. And people, as long as it's fun and it's entertaining, most people are gonna be down with it. Just imagine that Tournament of Power 2. Them against fucking everyone. Boom, fucking Oob, Cell Max, good Cell Max, Majin Buu, but maybe he's trained and now he's remember when he got skinny before the other tournament power, but then he slept.
Asleep again for the movie. They don't want to reveal what he can do. Basically,
that's the thing. Yeah, they're holding on that. Maybe him, fucking, Krillin, Tien. Maybe they're all fucking shot. Android 17, 18, obviously.
Yeah, 17 also absent from this movie. I mentioned earlier. They wanted to. Because he got super strong. They want to hold that off a little bit more too. And they don't want to compare him to the Gammas yet.
No, not yet. And especially because I mean, he also might get a power up. You never know. I didn't watch GT, but there was a Super 17. I'm pretty sure that was just him powered up. I don't know how that works. I didn't watch it, but they might give him something like similar, like a Super 17 type thing, or like they might call it something different.
Know,
but
yeah. There's a lot of directions.
Maybe fucking Hedo will work on him and make him even stronger. Who knows? I don't fucking know.
Yeah, so I think they could put, like, Hedo became Bulma's assistant. They could keep that in.
That I think sense. They should, yeah.
Yeah, and also they could make upgrades, different things. But I think the direction that they took with the animation, I wouldn't necessarily say they should keep that. I don't know.
I mean, I
don't think they could.
I didn't think it looked bad.
It didn't look bad.
I think the regular animation style keeps it to its roots, and it makes it kind of like it might not be the anime to do it to. I like I think the style's good, and I think it looked pretty good. I think they could do it to an anime. I'm not sure Dragon Ball is the one to do it to since it's so OG.
Do it to the entire thing. I think would be. It's almost like. You have to make a whole new series almost of that. Like Super is now concluded, and now we have Dragon Ball Ultimate, and it's almost like it works for a movie. I thought it's okay to do that, to experiment with that, and have it its own isolated thing.
Yeah,
I don't know but the battles would be cool, but I don't know if that's the direction I'd take. I mean, you could take the movies that direction going forward, but if like Dragon Ball Super anime, I still think. I mean, it depends what you're comparing it to, because some people will post like, very limited clips of like some of the early Super anime things where like it didn't look super well animated. So it's like if you're gonna not well animated, which I don't think is the plan, but if you're not gonna allow the animators time, then fucking go to CGI.
Yeah.
But if you're going to allow them time to do things like they did with Broly, then it's like. I would prefer that usually.
I think I would too, because it just it has that familiar aspect, but I don't want that to be that reason to be why they don't try to do that style on some other things. Because I think that has a place. I think that could be good.
I thought the way they did it in like Dragon Quest, which we can get into more later. It's like Dragon Quest: The Adventures of Gaia. They had some like almost like it's kind of like the 3D video games. Let's do some CGI battles.
Yep.
Although the fact that we're getting later into the show and they stopped doing that for the most part, aside from like the little enemies, I think that's pretty cool too. It seems like some of these things need like high tier animation without kind of the 3D sort of jarring aspects. But it can be done well. Again, the question is just will it age well over time? Mm-hmm. Some will, some won't.
Yep.
But I don't know. I think I was okay with it. In the context of this one movie, at least. Yeah,
and me too. And I think in the anime sense, I don't think that's even the direction they're taking it. But I wouldn't reject it. But I also,
I'll watch it.
I'm not sure I'd prefer it. I try to keep an open mind on these things because so many people don't want to, and I think that can stop growth when you just.
It was automatic.
Once people are like, once you just completely reject something before you even give it a shot, like you're staying stagnant, and that's not the nature of anime. That's not the nature of the company Toei Animation. They always try new things, so like I just don't think rejecting it is the right way, but also I'm not sure that it's necessarily the better way either. I don't have a big enough sample size, don't have a big enough idea, and it just doesn't exist, so I can't really say how I feel about it. But man, feelings can change over time. Obviously, in the beginning of the movie, like kind of like I might have mentioned, a little bit more jarring as it went on. Didn't really notice it that much. The fights obviously were so high that you can't. It was fine. Yeah. But even it's regardless, it's still like infinitely better than still frames. It's like in my opinion.
Yeah. It's better than bad animation. Yeah. Good CGI is better than bad animation.
Yes,
obviously bad CGI.
Bad CGI might be the worst.
Yeah.
But I think it was well done, and I think it has potential in the future. And talking about potential in the future, I mean, Pan, dude, like, she fucking one of the cutest fucking characters. They do so good at making the children of these days. They're just so cute, like, like they're just like they're so endearing.
And they're at a younger age.
Is it weird to say that I wasn't ready for Goten and Trunks to be like teenagers or whatever? Because like I know I was almost glad that it's placed after the Black Frieza arc because I'm like Goten and Trunks just as little spunky kids are like the coolest fucking duo.
Yeah, and it seems like with Gotenks that should be like a super OP.
It will be.
It shouldn't be the way they did in the movie was fine. Like they hadn't fused in a while. So
goofy. Yeah, just a joke.
But it's like they they shouldn't just become like side team characters and skip a generation. You know, they should be super powerful and important at some point.
And badass.
They became Super Saiyan like younger than
Gotenks can still be goofy because that's a different personality in itself.
Yeah,
but they need to be strong as fuck.
At least when they get the fusion right, you know, they should be insane.
Yeah, they should have like, I mean, Gotenks had. Correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't he have like purple, white, and black hair? Like Gotenks' hair was like purple.
It's all weird colors.
He has those colors going on. Ultra Ego's purple. Ultra Instinct's white. That'd be insane. Imagine if he's been planning it all along. Oh, that'd be so. That'd be insane.
But again, they don't.
No way, but it'd be funny.
Like 6, I don't even know. So it's they shouldn't. They got to be from such an early age. They shouldn't be.
I mean, whether or not they are rusty or not, they should be able to rub that off like nothing. Yeah. Rub it off like nothing.
I don't like the end of Z where they're just like,
that was terrible. The end of Z was the worst shit in the world.
Terrible.
And that was trash. If I can't even like the fact that
was fine, but
the Z was great, but the ending, horrible ending, and you could tell that like. Yeah, if they didn't have Super to kind of help redeem that and like erase that, bad taste in my mouth. Like I don't like that.
It rushed some weird plot points that didn't really make a lot of sense. And again, it's like strength compared to where we're at. I think they have to adjust that a little bit to make it make sense.
Stop.
But I don't know. I just think that in general, the direction they're taking the series is very interesting. Obviously, no matter which animation style they pick, I'm going to watch whatever Dragon Ball movie comes out, indefinitely. But, comparing it to Broly, one thing I'd say plot-wise is some people probably liked it less because they tried to do a lot more. So there's more holes in a sense because they developed a quicker plot. Plot that would take like 20 episodes.
But it felt cohesive. It felt like a nice flowing... Like,
it was moving quick.
It was moving quick, but it didn't like. It just felt like more of like a full unit of like a movie. Like Broly it was great, but it also felt like just one big battle, which is great.
Which is why,
but like
for some people they liked it more, and some people liked it less.
Yeah, it's preference.
Less of a plot, but there's no room for not no room for holes, but there's like you just know what it is. Broly's super OP. Here he is. Yes, it's different from all the previous Broly movies. Like it's a new kind of canon interpretation of him. But at the same time, you still know the character in a way, or know of him, even though they changed him up a bit. But, he's a beast, and you expect him to be super strong. He's a legendary Saiyan. He, fights Gogeta after they feud. All of that stuff. So it's kind of like, it's a... it's a different thing. And I think both movies have their place in what they're trying to do.
100%.
And I do think they could... when they take pieces of what they're going to make canon from this recent movie, that they might explain things in a more thorough way, at least a little bit, to make it a little bit less. Yeah, make a little bit more sense, or make us understand, like, again, why is Gamma so strong? Unless it is just like he's just better at building androids. It's like, all right, but what did he take to make them?
How did he make them? Like, exactly, I mean, obviously he can.
Why did they look like
he's obviously better at doing it.
Like
that's just proven. Like he's obviously better at doing it. Yes. But what did he do differently? Yes. That's the question.
Exactly.
And I think they'll answer. I don't know. Either way, I don't know. Both movies are really good. I don't, whatever you like better, whatever, that's cool. I think there's better aspects on both. Like I think the battle with like you can't get a more epic battle than fucking Gogeta versus Broly. Like you just can't. But also, the way that it was choreographed in the new movie with the superhero versus Cell Max, I thought that was very good and well done. It's fluent. It felt...
even if you don't
it was easily digestible.
It was super cool.
Yeah, exactly. And I thought they showcased a lot of cool shit. Gohan's transformation was dope. Piccolo's transformation was dope. Him obviously getting motivated from Piccolo getting his ass kicked was bittersweet, but like... Also,
it almost looked like they made Piccolo look dead, but then
it was part of the thing.
Making
it's like
it's the same thing as like Goku gets super pissed about someone dying, knowing they can bring them back.
Yeah, exactly. It's still like
because you still killed his friend.
Yeah,
it's
still not cool, bro.
Yeah,
you shouldn't do that, man.
Yeah.
that is just facts, and that's basically it. I mean, we could go on to like we could go on we could go on to we could go on and like break down how that was like one of the quickest transformations of all time. Like they fucking like Gohan just like I'm fucking beast mode, but like we can do that. But it's a fucking movie. What do you expect? You only got so much time.
And again, things. That's the thing about movies is like they're gonna be rushed if you try to start and end an arc.
Right, exactly. And the fact is, if you understand that, you can look at that and be like, well, it was still fucking dope. It was fast, but guess what? That's the essence of a movie, and there's not much getting around that.
Yeah,
and they still did it in a cool way.
There's no reason to rush arcs with a show that can go on indefinitely.
That's the thing.
It's like with a movie, it's gonna be self-contained. Sometimes not canon, but especially self-contained. So it's like. You can speed through some things. You just don't want to make it feel like it has no weight based on what's previously happened. And this actually felt like more of an ode to what's previously happened. It's might be self-contained. Again, some of the things may be picked and chosen what is or isn't canon. But it still had the relevance to the previous and future plot.
Yep, it did.
Not like the Seven Deadly Sins movie where it's kind of like, oh, let's take a little side break and totally new arc. And,
and we haven't watched the newest one, but the one that we watched was just kind of like
the one
felt
that
very
caused A1 Pictures to drop it in the first place. It didn't do well, which is dumb in my opinion. I think we've been talked about that before. But it's like, but nonetheless, the movie had nothing to do with what was going on.
Yeah, exactly. This movie gave it like life to a new direction, a new
references to what
a new era almost. It was nice.
Exactly.
It was really nice.
I had a lot of fun with it.
Me too. Last fucking thing. Who do you think's stronger now, Vegeta or Goku?
I mean, they did no transformations.
True.
Like their little battles, no transformations. So it's kind of like I don't know exactly where they're at with that in the manga, but I know they're gonna go back and forth and have Vegeta a little bit stronger, then Goku a little bit stronger. The whole point is their dynamic going back and forth. But at the end of the day, Goku always ends up a little bit stronger, but he may not be at this exact point. But I don't know the dynamics quite of Ultra Ego, how it works.
I don't know either.
Versus Ultra Instinct. We'll see that, but they didn't do any transformations. So I was like,
so I mean they couldn't. No, well, I think that was just part of the.
That was just what they agreed to.
Yeah, exactly. It's just like, well, I mean, like, destroy the fucking planet. It's like, well, that's true, but also it's just a way to be like, well, we're not gonna show you yet.
Well, I mean, if both fought to their full capacity without, it's like, you're directing the energy at each other, but I still feel like the planet, universe, whatever, would just erode somehow with the massive dumps of power.
Oh, for sure. And then also, I mean, imagine if they added Broly into that too, like how initially they wanted to. That, and dude, I mean, out of all the things that could be canon or not could be canon, that is like the most important thing. Not Broly the most.
Himself.
I mean, the transformations are important, but like that's up there. Like that is so fucking up there. Like Broly getting trained by Whis and becoming a major player and then just another character with like like personality and just like just having him there, huge.
They've kind of
huge.
They've done a little bit more with this movie again, canon or not. Done a little bit more to be like, hey, Broly's there. He's training with them. He's hanging out with them.
That is what we need.
Yeah.
Like a third fucking... And also a different type of power. The legendary Saiyan. Like
rather than just hand it to Goku. Vegeta, it's like, a third style.
Vegeta, pride. Goku, I mean, instinct martial artist. I don't know exactly what you call it. And then fucking Broly, anger, like rage, like pure rage. Yeah. Like they're all a little bit rage induced, but like pure rage. So like, and if he can control that,
he's kind of animalistic.
Animalistic, yeah. More primal.
Simple. Yep.
More closer to the. Does he still have his tail?
I think he did. I didn't see.
That would be interesting. I can't remember. I'm picturing him with a tail belt, but I can't. But I'm not totally sure about that.
Remember.
That'd be sick. That'd be really sick.
Or did he also? I can't.
They might have ripped it. I mean, it would make sense. That's kind of the direction they're going with it. But yeah, that would be fucking sick. Anyways, dude. All right. I was gonna do fucking. I think we could do under the radar all these things, but we're already rearing towards close to an hour.
Yeah.
I feel like we should fucking save these for another time. We'll have this exclusively be for you Dragon Ball fans who want to listen to the movie and how we feel about all that stuff. I thought the movie was great. I thought, I mean, everything has room for improvement. Everything you can critique anything. If you want to look at problems, you can look at problems. If you want to enjoy something for what it is, you can enjoy something for what it is.
I know some people that weren't huge fans of it, but it's like, I don't know how long it's been since they saw the original Dragon Ball. I'm not saying if you see that you automatically think this movie's good, but it's like the references to it
hit home.
It just had so much heart in the plot.
Yes.
Like all the rest of it, it's like what. But like the odes to it, it kind of, for me, it overrode the notions of like, oh, this part of the plot's aroused. This part, I'm like, yeah, but there's like they're peppering in little things, so it's not like they.
Yeah, it has some spice to it.
Yeah, it's not just movie by the numbers. They released it this rush is simple. It's like there's a lot of little like references to old stuff. You can tell Toriyama actually wrote it. It's funny. It's fun.
Yep.
It's like just enjoy it if you like Dragon Ball.
If you do, and if you haven't watched Dragon Ball, I even know only of one person, but one person online who hasn't watched Dragon Ball, but they watched the movie and they're like, that was a good movie. So it's like, even people who haven't watched it, you could watch the movie and probably still appreciate it for being a good piece of moving art. Like,
if you've watched DBZ,
and you haven't watched the OG,
you have to watch.
Go watch the OG. Go watch it. Do yourself a favor.
Super like impatient. Well,
some people are weird and they're like, oh, it looks too old. Shut up. Like.
Also, the kind that's on streaming doesn't even look that old.
Doesn't look
the art style.
Doesn't look that old, and guess what? After a few episodes, you don't notice it.
No,
like,
that's another thing.
Like, you got to give shit time. Just like
let it flow. If you're one of those people that you judge something after 3-4 episodes, I mean, again, if it's Record of Ragnarok where it's still
that was obvious. There's outliers, but the general rule of thumb: give some shit time.
Yeah, let the plot unfold. See how the characters develop. You shouldn't, in my opinion, only like rush stuff. It's fine to have rush stuff, but like or quickly pace things. If you want to put it that way, but it's like you should also be able to appreciate things that take their time. It's yes, preferences to a degree, but there's just different aspects of different anime that make them good, of different shows in general, but different manga.
Well, it's art. Not all art should be similar. I mean,
exactly.
That's what it is.
That's the thing about Dragon Ball. It's like it's always gonna maintain its element of fun. It doesn't need to become, Steins Gate, or it doesn't need to become just one of these other things that's more, intellectually based.
Yeah, and there's a place for everything, and I think. And a lot of manga authors understand that, and that's why they pay homage to Dragon Ball, because they're like, it's fun, it's inspiring. I loved it as a kid.
There are more.
Toriyama's cool.
It's inspiring in a lot of ways. Like, creative, because you feel like he's just throwing stuff out there, almost stream of consciousness, but still tying it back in.
Yeah.
But
you can feel the soul in it.
Yeah, there are definitely plenty of meticulously written manga out there that they wouldn't have even started writing if not for Toriyama.
Nope.
Because it's just inspiring.
Yeah, because it's just it shows you that
he comes up with ideas.
Yeah, crazy, creative. He's not afraid to just be himself while he's you know what I mean? Be his creative self. He's one of the most creative fucking authors of all time. I think that's why people see that and they're like, damn, I want to make something really interesting and shit. And no matter if they're literally the deepest writer of all time, or if they're just another whatever, shonen, whatever, it's they can respect him, because no matter what media or medium you are, you can, if you understand what he's doing, I think you can respect it, because it's fun and it's nice, and I think most people can understand what that is. No matter if they're the deepest writing author of all time, they write fucking. You know what I mean? You can have a different style and still appreciate his style. You know what I mean? That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, there are. I mean, children's books that are written versus 1,000-page novels. It's not of course a novel's better. It's better. It's not all better or worse.
Yeah,
different
exactly.
Ways of going about things. I mean, you can make some comparisons where some things just are really shallow, but there's a style, there's a heart and a way of putting creating genuine atmospheres and feelings that people. They don't have to relate to them, but just connect with something about it, or something that almost seems too out there to relate to. But rather than just being oh, I can't relate, it's more you can take inspiration from something that's just so far out there. People that watch Dragon Ball and then they want to go train. Of course, you can't go into a hyperbaric time chamber.
Yeah. You can't do a million sit-ups in fucking 3 minutes. Yeah, and you shouldn't try.
Right.
But
it has just that heart to it, that tone to it, that's just inspiring.
Yeah,
in general.
it's you can the essence Dragon was you can just, I mean, whether or not it's true or not, however people want to break shit down, it's like you can do like just put your heart to it. You can do anything. Like, and that is kind of like the message of Dragon Ball, where it's just like, if you really, if you have a like, if you're trying to follow like what's in your heart and you're trying to do good, like you probably get to where you want to be. And I love that about it. Like it's like, and yeah, and I don't know. It's just
be a Yamcha. Don't just give up on getting strong.
Yeah. He was always a little bit cowardice, and but
he's alright.
Yeah,
but yeah. Well, if he still exists.
Yeah, the Wolfang fist. Maybe he'll get a fucking like I've said this before. Maybe he'll get a Wolf Pack fist. Who knows? You know?
Hey, yeah.
You know? Who knows, man? Maybe he'll get a howling at the moon, and it'll be like some cool attack. Who knows, man? Fucking, it's to be seen.
You never know what can happen, but and again, that's the fun thing about Dragon Ball. It's like you never know what can happen because he's not constrained by these silly things.
Exactly.
And that's what makes
and he's
it
earned
its
that.
own thing.
He's fucking earned that. He's been in the game forever. He's influenced the game tremendously. And when you do that, I mean, you gotta give him his flowers and let him do what he wants to do, you know?
Yeah, exactly. And he kind of gives it back. Like, it's almost like, again, the movie's like a little bit fan service.
Exactly.
The original.
But also, it's also kind of fan service to his original ideas, too. Yeah. Like, it's both. Like, it's dope. Anyway, Dragon Ball movie, fucking good. I liked it. I'm not gonna give it a rating because I don't think it needs to be rated.
Yeah, I don't know.
But like I don't think that's like
people love it. Out of 10, what is it?
Yeah, it's like I think it's good.
I don't know. Yeah, it's like if you start rating it out of 10, that's like you think
there's different components that I can rate. You know what I mean? The overall rating, I guess you could do it. I guess that's the average of everything. But don't care about that. I liked it. If you like it, hell yeah. Maybe I like you. Maybe you're cool. Maybe you're not. I don't know, but. Anyway, Dragon Ball movie was great. And
I'm
super excited for the fucking for it to return. A bunch of anime are returning. We've watched a bunch of anime since we last talked to you guys, and we will definitely break them down. I mean, I had more here. I had Under the Radar. I had a Tower of God. I had Overlord new season. I had some things to talk about. But new Bleach trailer, blah blah blah. One Piece movie, November 4th. Whatever. I have notes here, guys. But it's been a while. It's been a while now. So we're just gonna peace out. We're gonna tell you we love you. You need a like, you need to subscribe, you need a comment, and yes, these are needs. If you don't do this, the world will deteriorate in like 3 days. So do it.
3 days.
3 days, man. You got 72 hours. Yes, that's all you have. The time is now. So
yeah. If you want to, if you've seen the Dragon Ball movie, if you plan to see it, let us know. Let us know what you think. Let us know what you think about the animation style, the plot, the potential canon.
Yeah, and also drop down in the comments like what you want us to talk about next. Like, you want us to have some hot takes? We'll give you some hot takes, hot cakes. We'll give you whatever you want.
Hot cakes, but we have some hot.
Yeah, we want to give you guys what you want to hear, what you want to see.
Yeah.
Obviously, we want a little bit of freedom with shit, but if you guys have stuff we want to do, we're willing to do it. If you guys have anime you want to suggest us to watch that we may have not watched, drop it down in the comments below. Like, I'm always down to watch new things, and just don't give me hentai links, okay?
Right?
Don't do that. It's TOS, man. It's kind of sus, so leave that out. That's it, man. Hope you all had a good time, and we will see you next time.
Peace.